Making sense of politics and the cultural divide from a different perspective. This is America on the Edge with C.L. Bryant on News Radio 710 Keel.
Hello, everyone. This is C.L. Bryant, America on the Edge. Thank you for joining us again today. I'm here with my co-host, Stephen Parr, and we have a jam-packed program for you. Stephen, what do we have?
Well, we're talking about the Beyonce voter. Are you a Beyonce voter? It's a special type of voting block as penned by your buddy Jesse Waters. We'll be talking about that.
Yeah. He stepped in it, I think.
Yeah, he may have. It's also led us to another type of question here. Our question of the day, is there another celebrity voting block? We've been asking folks about that on Twitter, at The American Edge. We hashtagged it Beyonce voters and then hashtagged it all the single ladies. So are there any other types of celebrity voting blocks out there? Let us know what you think. Again,
Hillary's really going to be interested in that other celebrity voting block because that's what they do. They do celebrities.
That's right. That's right. And again, this idea of naming voting blocks after people started with soccer moms, and her husband's run for president. He won the soccer mom voting block, and that propelled him into the presidency.
Big Bill Bubba Clinton.
That's right. We're also talking about immigration on the border. The president's currently in the state of Texas, but he's not heading to the border. Well, we're going to be talking about that. There are some calls for the Guard to be used in two different places in this country, one to stop the immigration and one to stop violence in a major city.
Interesting.
We're going to be talking about that. And we're going to be talking with a National Guardsman that most of our viewers know and love. Pat Simon, my buddy, my friend, is going to be here. He's a lieutenant colonel, a former lieutenant colonel in the National Guard. He has been deployed. He knows how this type of stuff works. Yeah, I remember when he was
deployed. What do we go to Iraq, Afghanistan? Where'd he go?
He went to Iraq, and he was actually the first person to take reporters, started the day in Iraq, and then went to Afghanistan within the same day. So reporters got to see two different theaters of war. Pat Simon set that up. He's the first reporter, the first National Guardsman to ever set that up.
Going to be really good to talk to him.
Yeah, looking forward to that conversation. And we're also talking about Washington and Lee University. It's a small liberal arts college over in Virginia.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll ever get over this, Stephen, but we'll talk about that.
Well, let's talk about it now. It's a controversy about the Confederate flag. The university has decided it is going to take down all the Confederate flags on campus. Now, I don't think this would normally be that controversial this day and age, except based upon who this university is named after. It's named after George Washington, who gave an endowment, a $20,000 endowment to the school to get it started back in 1796.
That was a lot of money back then, a lot of money.
Oh, in 1796, that was a lot of money. That's right. And so it was named Washington College.
Yeah.
And then after the Civil War, Robert E. Lee, General Robert E. Lee, served as the president of the university. So
and
it was
so
renamed.
They're wanting to I understand that this student body of black students called the committee.
Yeah.
Want them to take down the Confederate flag. Now, this is a private college. Is that right?
It is a private college.
Now, the students who, in fact, enrolled in this private college knew where they were enrolling because it is a private college.
It is. And moreover, Robert E. Lee is buried in a crypt beneath the chapel on this campus.
Interesting. I tell you something, Stephen. There are some things that do, in fact, in reverse, violate certain freedoms of speech.
Okay.
Now, regardless of what you may attach the image of the Confederate flag to, I was born in Confederate Memorial Hospital. I'm not going to take it off my birth certificate. Okay. That is present day University Hospital, formerly LSU hospital. I was born in that hospital, and being a Southerner, all my life I've seen the image of the Confederate flag. However, if I was sending a child of mine to a private institution named Washington and Lee, I kind of think that I would be expecting there to be a Confederate flag somewhere around. I think this is frivolous.
And the flags that were being flown were the banners that Robert E. Lee used during battle.
Historic.
They were historic banners, or replicas of the historic banners. They've got the historic banners protected, but that's what's being taken down and no longer shown in the chapel.
You can't deny history. And once you want to see, this is a form of controlling the narrative. Once you eliminate the banner, once you eliminate that out of the history, then you can formulate whatever you want to around that. Lee, regardless of what you may have thought about the South fighting, and I'm speaking as a black man here, at the time I had ancestors in the South who were in fact slaves. So I'm speaking here with authority on this. Regardless of what you may think about Lee and the Civil War and slavery and all of that, Lee, as a historical figure, is one of the most beloved generals that America has. In fact, I know so many black men who are named Robert Lee. Do you think?
Wow.
Do you think that they just named him that?
Yeah.
No. I know black men named. Why do you think they named black kids Roosevelt back in the day?
Yeah.
They renamed him after that president.
After the president.
Well, I know black men who are named Robert Lee because of General Lee. You can deny it if you want to, but friend, that's how that happened.
I'll tell you what, there's another place where the flag's been taken away from General Lee. It was the General Lee. Have you seen the Autotrader.com commercials?
Yeah.
They've got the Bo and Luke Duke. They've got him back in the car.
Absolutely.
Watch the commercials carefully. All of the shots of the car are filmed from a low angle, so you never see the Confederate flag on the roof of the car.
This is amazing. Trying to change history. This is C.L. Bryant, America on the Edge. We'll be back in a minute.
This is America on the Edge with C.L. Bryant and Steve Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
Citizens Bank and Trust. Refinance today. Call 629-7800. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's a Summer Sizzler Showcase. You could win a $1,500 gift card to any Louisiana Boardwalk store, including Bass Pro Shops. Brought to you by the outlets at the Louisiana Boardwalk. Visit 710keel.com for your chance to win.
Have you ever thought, I wish I didn't have to search for the best price on printing or direct mail? Tired of trying to design your own material on some confusing website just to get to the end and it's not that professional look your business needs? Well, stop searching and call Graphic Industries. We've been waiting on your business, ready to help you with your printing and direct mail needs. Graphic Industries offers all types of print, stationery, brochures, flyers, catalogs, door hangers, books, pocket folders, postcards, variable printed letters, and much, much more. Graphic Industries can direct mail for you, too. You can customize a mailing list, target a certain demographic, or just flood the market and get your name in the homes of thousands of potential clients. Lowest prices, best quality, and a faster turn time. Visit us online at graphicindustries.net. or call us today at 318-222-1100. Graphic Industries, the #1 choice of printing and direct mail.
Planning your next staycation? You don't have to go far to get away from it all. Just 30 minutes south of Shreveport, in the historic village of Grand Cane, stands the Cook Hill House Bed and Breakfast. This stately treasure was built in the mid-1800s, before the Civil War. The Cook Hill House is also the perfect place for weddings, receptions, parties, and showers. Call the Cook Hill House Bed and Breakfast at 318-858-0800. 318-858-0800. Cook Hill House Bed and Breakfast. Victorian elegance with country charm.
If you owe money on your student loans, then you may qualify to have your entire student loan wiped out with one free call. You heard correctly. If you're a teacher, nurse, work for a nonprofit, or are in public service, then new federal programs are available to have your entire student loan forgiven. But you need to call a trusted source. The Coalition for Student Loan Relief is backed by a law firm, so you know your loan forgiveness paperwork is filed correctly and that you'll get the maximum loan forgiveness available. Find out in the first free call what you qualify for. A loan forgiveness specialist is standing by to answer all of your questions for free. Log on to GetReliefToday.org. That's GetReliefToday.org. Or call 800-239-0011. That's 800-239-0011. Completely wipe out your federal student loan debt and enjoy financial freedom. Call now. 800-239-0011. That's 800-239-0011.
News Radio 710 Keel. News Radio 710 Keel. News Radio 710 Keel. News Radio 710. This is America on the Edge on News Radio 710 Keel.
Welcome back to America on the Edge with C.L. Bryan. I am Stephen Parr. If you want to advertise on the show, you can send us an email, ad@americaontheedge. We've been getting some tweets in, some of these celebrity voting blocks, like the Beyonce voter. We'll be talking about that a little bit later on the show. But let me just read one of these. The Milli Vanilli block. Hashtag, this is my favorite part of this, hashtag vote early, vote often. So if you have a celebrity voting block like Beyonce.
Oh, man, Hillary's going to love that.
we want to hear about that. Well, we're also talking today about the immigration issue, and it really is reaching a peak here. The president is currently in Dallas, and there's been a roundtable discussion with the governor of Texas, Rick Perry, and some local political and religious leaders in the Dallas area talking about the immigration issue.
Yeah, I really believe that Rick Perry, the president, should have had an eyeball-to-eyeball, face-to-face discussion about this, not some round-table discussion with other influential people in the area. There's nobody more influential in the state of Texas than the governor of Texas, who is acutely familiar with the problems on the border. I think the president of the United States and the governor of Texas needed to be in a room by themselves talking this out about this $3.7 million. Hey, how about giving the $3.7 million to Texas to build a $3.7 million way to keep people out of here?
Wait, $3.7 million, I can get behind.
Billion.
The president asked yesterday for $3.7 billion.
Billion dollars. Forgive me, folks. It was $1 billion. Stephen, what kind of fence could $3.7 billion build?
Oh, man, it would be pretty. It would light up. There'd be Ferris wheels.
Oh, yeah. And they would climb right over it.
Here's the thing. To me, all it took to create the problem was a pen and a phone.
Pen and a phone.
Yeah. So, and it didn't even have to be a fancy pen. You could do one of those 25-cent Bic pens.
To make this happen.
And you could sign that Immigration Dream Act presidential decree.
Whatever he wants. He's the king.
And he did, and he said, "Hey, come! We're not going to get rid of. We're not going to take kids out of the country if they're illegal, undocumented immigrants that are minors. We're not going to send them home."
$3.7 billion, folks. That ain't hay. That's your money, by the way. And the president actually goes to Texas, and he has a roundtable discussion with the governor of Texas. But he's not going to visit the border, is he?
He's not going to visit the border. He's 242 miles. Tomorrow he'll be in Austin. He will be 242 miles away from the border. But he's even closer to San Antonio. It's less than 100 miles to San Antonio. You get there in an hour and a half.
There's the Air Force
Just
base.
driving. Actually, you could take that new interstate where you could go 85 miles an hour.
Yeah, I love it.
And you could go real fast down that from Austin to San Antonio.
Man.
But at the Air Force Base, they are housing some of these undocumented children. He could go there with Representative Henry Cuellar, a Democrat from the San Antonio area, and visit that facility.
And being the president of the United States, he could have he could open it up as an Autobahn. They would close it off,
right?
And he could go 125 miles an hour.
That's right.
Down that Texas Autobahn all the way into San Antonio and see about this thing. Or he could hop on our jet, which is Air Force One. We lend it to him while he's in office.
He's going to an Air Force base.
He's going to an Air Force base.
You can land Air Force One at an Air Force base.
You think they have a runway long enough to land Air Force One?
I think they do.
Then why isn't he going?
Because here's what I really think on this. People have been talking about, is this the Katrina moment for him? Is this a Katrina moment? I think there have been members of his press handling corps, right? So his public relations department.
Whoa.
And they are saying what we do not want is the picture of George Bush sitting in the plane looking out the window at flooded New Orleans.
Oh, that's funny.
You do not want a picture of Barack Obama standing in a room full of hungry, starving, malnourished, disease-ridden
saying it's your fault. And
children.
The president says, no, it's George Bush's fault. I can just see it right now.
They don't want that picture, and that's why he's not going to the border.
But you know what, Stephen? The fact of the matter is, even though he may not want that picture and all of that type of thing, it is time now to understand one thing, folks. Folks, you need to understand this. Even his own base is turning on him. I'm not going to get into this, but even Joan Rivers turned on him. But that's a whole other story. I'm not going to go there. But it's worth mentioning.
Yeah, she did say some interesting things about him. But we'll move on.
We'll move on.
But Henry Cuellar is a Democrat.
Just saying.
Henry Cuellar is a Democrat, a representative in San Antonio, and he has been a very vocal critic of the president on this, and he is demanding the president come to San Antonio to visit these locations, and the president's not doing it.
Now, Cuellar himself, the last name is a Latin name.
It is.
Okay, so I would think that he does have some skin in this game.
He certainly is Hispanic represented and represents a very Hispanic district.
And
as
he's
well.
A Democrat on top of all of that.
And he is a Democrat. There's a D behind his name.
And so let me make this very clear to you folks. Listen, Battleground Texas. The end game for Battleground Texas is to turn Texas blue using the brown vote. I really hate to use color, but that's the way we talk in America, unfortunately. And here with America on the Edge, we are trying to give you the edge and also build that bridge where, in fact, we can conquer some of these things that we have been plagued by over the last 238 years. But we won't do it today. But this is the thing. For the brown vote to actually vote Democrat, somebody real soon in the Democrat Party, and Cuellar is saying it should be the president, had better see to this. That's what he's saying.
That's what he's saying. That you got to focus on this. And part of the reason why a lot of Hispanics, more Hispanics in Texas vote Republican than they do in other states, and part of the reason is because policies in Texas have actually helped a lot of Hispanics in Texas. Now, there's a lot of statistics we can debate on this. I want to get to this next point here because Rick Perry has been saying there is a solution that is not in this $3.7 billion the president's asked for, and that is to help send the National Guard to the border. That has been something that more and more people are starting to call for this. And Michael McCaul, which is the chairman of the Homeland Security Committee, went on Fox News and made the same request. Listen to this.
The humanitarian crisis are these children being sent through Mexico with the drug cartels and the Zetas. One way to stop that is we could send the National Guard down tomorrow to provide a support role on the border so the Border Patrol can do their job.
There is money in the $3.7 billion he's asked for drones to fly around. There is money for judges to process the paperwork faster. There's also money in this for wildfires in the western U.S.
What would they do with the drones?
The drones are to fly over and spot people as they're coming across the border.
I guess the thing that I'm concerned about here is how effective is any of this talk going to be? Because all we get from Washington is a lot of pointing fingers in the air, sticking holes in the air with our fingers.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of talk. No action. In Texas, it's all hat, no cattle. And this particular situation, you're a Texan. You know the expression. And this particular situation up to this point, especially with the president saying, I ain't going.
Right.
I'm here, but I'm not here. I ain't going. I'm going to raise my funds. And, folks, I say ain't a lot. I'm going to raise the funds for the Democrat Party. But the thing is, the folks who invite him there, they don't even want to be seen with him.
Actually, in Colorado, you're right. The three biggest Democrats in Colorado, the highest-ranking Democrats in the state, did not want to take photo ops with the president. You were talking about they're just talking. They're just pointing around. They're just talking. They're chatting. One of the things we want to do with this show is try and help find solutions. The question I have, if you send the Guard to the border, will it work? What could they do? What's required to make that happen? And that's where we're going to head right after this break. We're going to talk to Pat Simon. Pat, a journalist, 1. 2, a member of the National Guard. 3, he has served in deployments in Louisiana during Hurricane Katrina and during the BP oil spill, and he also served in Iraq during the latest Gulf War. So Pat knows what the National Guard can do, and he's going to get us some answers for this coming up in just a minute.
Fantastic. This is C.L. Bryant, America on the Edge, with Stephen Parr. We'll be back in a minute.
Live on News Radio 710 Keel, you're listening to America on the Edge.
If you haven't yet, go to our website, AmericaOnTheEdge.com. It's different than most websites out there, and that's because it's not a website, it's our nation. created by Logic Nation. As we're launching this new kind of radio show, we decided to partner with a new kind of internet company. Logic Nation gives us a new way to interact with you through your existing social media platforms. We've got Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, all in one place, which makes it easy. Too much of the time, social media becomes a place where we bicker and fight rather than listen and learn. Logic Nation gives us the ability to start a new conversation on air and online. So now when you go to our Nation page and start a conversation with CL or with me, we can stay focused on that discussion without getting distracted. It's going to change things, and I believe for the better. Logic Nation has an app to make it easier to browse content on your mobile devices. You can download that for free today. If you have a business that needs to reach your customers in a new interactive way, you should give Logic Nation a try.
If the number on your thermostat is going up just as quickly as the temperature outside, your air conditioner may have a serious problem. Give the friendly folks over at Premier Heating and Cooling a call at 222-1980.
Have you heard? Proactive Plus is faster and better than ever. Stay tuned for a 1,000,000 bottle giveaway, and you'll also receive free shipping. Do you have troubled skin? Acne? Well, we have great news. With Proactive Plus, your acne can heal, and you can help prevent new breakouts from happening. Don't miss this limited time offer. Give us a call at 800-287-2857 because we're going to let 1,000,000 people try Proactive Plus risk-free and get 2 free gifts and also receive free shipping when you call right now. You heard it. This offer won't last long. So call Proactive Plus now and you'll receive a 60-day risk-free trial of Proactive Plus, 2 free extras, and free shipping. Call 800-287-2857. This is our exclusive radio offer, never on TV. Get your risk-free 60-day trial of Proactive Plus with free shipping. That's right, free shipping. Don't wait. Call 800-287-2857. That's 800-287-2857.
Conserving water is mostly a matter of using good common sense. If everyone that used the Sparta Aquifer simply turned the water off while they brush their teeth, we could save 1.5 million gallons of water per day. Before brushing, wet your brush and fill a glass of water to rinse your mouth. The declining Sparta Aquifer is our main water source in North Louisiana. Do your part for water conservation. Be Sparta smart. Make every drop count. This public service announcement is brought to you by this radio station, a member of the Sparta Media Network.
Let me cut through all of the noise.
Rush is on every weekday from 11 to 2.
It's all in the mind. It's all in the mind.
Right here on your news and weather station.
Where consumers of hard news go.
On News Radio 710 Keel. 710 Keel. 710 Keel. Live on News Radio 710 Keel. You're listening to America on the Edge.
Welcome back to America on the Edge with C.L. Bryant. I am Stephen Parr, and I'm very excited about talking to this next guest. I worked with him for 5 years at KSLA. Pat Simon was the main anchor while I was the weather guesser.
The only anchor I really listened to, Stephen, when I turn on network television was you and Pat.
Well, that's so nice of you to say.
Yeah, I really am. I really am. And Pat, so glad to have you on. Welcome to America on the Edge. This is C.L. Bryant.
CL, great to hear your voice, and Stephen, great to hear yours as well. Thanks for having me.
Here's why we wanted Pat back on, in addition to him just being a great guy. He's a former public affairs officer with the Louisiana and North Carolina National Guard, and currently is an instructor at the Army Command and General Staff College, which is, in case you didn't know, that's kind of a big deal. So Pat, what the question I have for you, you've served with the National Guard during Katrina. You went down to New Orleans, right?
That's correct.
And you served with the National Guard during the BP oil spill. You went down there and you helped scrub some ducks.
That is correct as well.
And you went to Iraq with the National Guard. You were there, and you actually did a deployment where you were in Iraq and Afghanistan on the same day one day.
Well, CNN was. We got them set up to be in Afghanistan and in Iraq the same day to follow one of our units that was leaving Iraq to do another mission in Afghanistan. So I got a call from the guys from CNN that they were embedded with us, and they said, "Hey, can we go along with them?" And I said, "Let's set it up," and we set it up. And it's kind of funny. It was a nice little feather in our cap, and theirs as well. That's the first time the media was actually deployed or could deploy in a single day from one war theater to the next war theater. And it was a great story that they told, so we were happy to be a part of that.
Pat, you did a lot of good here in the Arklatex while you were here, and I want to thank you so much for your service to our country. There are people that are calling for the National Guard to come down to the border on Texas. What are they saying about that, Stephen?
Yeah, they're saying that we need to beef up security down there. They're saying the National Guard is the way to stop this flow of undocumented, unaccompanied minors down to the border. My question to you, first of all, Pat, what does it take to get the National Guard down the border? What is that process like? Can a governor do it? Does the president have to do it? How's it work?
Well, I know that Governor Perry has been asking for more boots on the ground. I just saw something on Fox News from Greta Van Susteren, who was touring with him on a helicopter tour of the border 3 years ago, and he was saying back then that there was a need for more boots on the ground, more people to kind of help secure the border. And so just about a week ago, Governor Perry asked for 1,000 Texas National Guardsmen to line up along the border and help support Border Patrol agents. And let's remember what that is. You're helping to support them. It's not any kind of combat role or anything like that. It's providing existing support that these guardsmen have already been trained to do, and they've done it for years and years and years. And what it would take is a plan. You don't just obviously want to throw about 1,000 boots on the ground, whatever, without a plan. You never have that. You should never have that. And usually that's the first thing that people ask when people will call for is, hey, let's put National Guard out there. Let's throw the National Guard out at them. And it's good to hear. It may sound relieving to hear to some people that the National Guard folks are prepared and they're ready to serve at any given notice. But you have to have a plan, and you have to also be thinking of an exit strategy as well. And what Governor Perry was simply talking about was, hey, let's get 1,000 National Guardsmen out there to help support these Border Patrol agents while a few thousand of the Border Patrol agents are being properly trained to help fill in those gaps once you pull them out and let them go back to their full-time regular jobs.
And Pat, that is a governor's call, or can the president call them out?
The governor is asking what would end up happening. The governor can actually do a state call-up for any kind of disaster and so on. What you're looking for is the governor needing some federal assistance, apparently in this case. So that's why he was asking it was a Homeland Security Committee hearing that was in Texas last week, and he was asking apparently for some federal funds. So what to me he's asking for is, let me put 1,000 National Guardsmen on active duty in a Title 32 status, which would get federal funding to pay for them rather than state funding. The state of Texas has already been paying millions and millions, if not a few billions of dollars to help, with Border Patrol, et cetera. So I think he's probably asking for some federal funding.
So this is more about funding then. Let me ask another hotspot question here, because there's been a lot of violence going on in the city of Chicago. July 4th, they had 82 people shot, 14 people killed just on July 4th. There was an article written on the Daily Beast today by a man named Roland S. Martin. And CL, you have some experience with Mr. Martin.
Oh, yeah, Martin is not he doesn't have a full load.
You guys were talking about the problems in the south side of Chicago earlier. Let me play this clip. This is from a couple years back of CL and Mr. Martin talking.
You let me know when you go to Chicago, and I will see you there when you want to discuss black-on-black violence in Chicago. Just let me know when.
Well, let me do this. Let me go on record tonight and say, let's put your ideology on the table.
No problem.
And let's put my ideology on the table.
I'm just saying, you
I
show
call
up.
you out tonight. We can meet in Chicago. We can meet in Newark. And let's see whose ideology best suits the traditional core values of black American people. Let's see whose ideas stand the mustard. And I do accept whatever challenge you have, but I throw down the gauntlet tonight. Let us have a test of the different ideologies, liberal and black conservative.
All right, well, you know what?
That sounded like a very fun conversation, CL. So the
Roland's an idiot. Go on record.
The argument at the time was how to combat black-on-black violence in Chicago. And his article today said what we need to do is to send the National Guard to Chicago, just like we've sent the National Guard into places in Iraq to combat problems in Iraq, to set up roadblocks, to cut down on violence. Pat, my question to you is, if the National Guard, well, one, should the National Guard be able to go into Chicago and set up roadblocks and stop the black-on-black violence inside that city?
And that's such a loaded question, and it would be easy to say yes, and it's done. It can be done, but again, you have to take a look at what they're doing and what ended up happening on July 4th. Apparently, current law enforcement there were exhausted. I don't think they had the proper game plan, it seemed, even from their superintendent saying, hey, maybe we had too many people off of a holiday and so on. So you look at what you have. You look at your current force. Then you also look at state police. Can state police help fill in the gaps to help with law enforcement? And then you could probably call in some National Guardsmen. And let's be very, very careful when we pull up National Guardsmen. Just, again, everybody calling for the National Guardsmen. Be careful when you ask for that. These are highly trained and highly skilled individuals. They have done missions like counter-drug. They have done missions in Iraq. They have dealt with situations that are very, very violent, okay? But you have to be targeted in your plan and what you want to do. And so if you want to use the Guard as a part of a counter-drug operation, they've done that with DEA in the past, and they continue to do that right now. So you'd need some supplemental funding for that, and then you'd have to go after drug cartels. You'd have to go after weapons, and so the Guardsmen would be right there in those supportive roles. And then you have to really get into the root causes, because you can't just think, let's send in troops. It's all going to be done tomorrow or next week or whatever. Everything's going to, be ironed out. It won't. And CL and Steve, you know this. You've got to get into the root causes of what's causing the drug and the gang violence to take place in the first place. That's going to take a lot of, rolling up the sleeves and figure it out. The one great thing I think about what the National Guard and even state police and even the local law enforcement, it gives some of these kids a chance to finally look up to a role model, okay? And they'll look at a National Guardsman. I remember when I wore the uniform and I went into some of these neighborhoods that, they were just really worn down, troubled, and so on, especially after Hurricane Katrina. And we had field artillery troops ready to go with, and the riot gear and that sort of thing. Even back during Hurricane Andrew, we were patrolling the streets of New Orleans, waiting for something to happen, but being a proactive stance. But when these kids looked at us, they looked at us like, man, that is really cool what you guys are doing, and so on. You're the good guys, okay? You need some kind of role model to turn those kids away from the gangbangers and the violence, that kind of thing, into looking up to something positive.
And you were talking about getting down to the root causes of it. That's actually part of what happened in Iraq as well. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the military was fighting a war, and then it realized, you know what, we've got sectarian violence. We've got to get down to the root cause of this, and they had to start working on that before they started to turn the war around in the first place.
Right, and also, all the displaced civilians. Whenever you have a situation like this, and Chicago's one thing, but you look at the borders in, from Mexico to the United States, all the crime and the drug lords and the violence, that's displacing all of those people that want to find a safe haven. This has been going on for some time, and so you got to do something about that. You're right. You got to dig into the root cause, because you can't just show up with the National Guard for a month or 2 months at a time and say, okay, we got this now. And then a month or two later, they're shooting again on the streets and killing people. You really have to have a good plan, and I don't see a reason why the federal government, and in this particular case, if you put some National Guard soldiers, again, on Title 32 and work a strategic plan to help the communities around Chicago, it can be done. I'll tell you, back in just last year, they had the same situation there, and a lot of people were asking for the National Guard to jump in and to do something about Chicago's violence and whatever. And I was reading an op-ed article from one of the captains of a field artillery unit, and he says, "Look, we've got a National Guard unit, the 2nd Battalion of the 1st of the 22nd, a National Guard unit from south side of Chicago, deployed after 9/11. They successfully provided force protection on their bases in Germany. In 2004, they did some law enforcement in Fort Carson, Colorado. They did a number of things. They even went down to New Orleans and helped us out with Katrina. And, you know, he was saying, look, why can't you use us? We're in the neighborhoods. We care about our own communities and our own backyards. Use us. He said this back last year. So, again, you know, there's the call for the National Guard. But I strongly suggest that before you just start throwing troops on the ground, that you have a widespread plan that will actually work.
Pat, it has been great talking to you. I've missed our chats together, and I appreciate you being a part of our show today.
Thanks, and continued success on the show, Steve and CL. I know I can listen to it online, and I encourage everyone out there to listen. You guys are great.
Thank you so much. We've been getting some tweets. What other celebrity voting blocks are there out there? One of them, how about this? Leonard Skinnard, hashtag Freebird for the Libertarians. We'll be back. More America on the Edge.
This is America on the Edge on News Radio 710 Keel.
SB Magazine, North Louisiana's premier publication, is your source for local entertainment, home decor ideas, gardening information, fashion trends, and seasonal gift guides. Every month, we take you behind the scenes at some of Shreveport-Bossier's most fun events in Eye on SB. And you'll find SB Magazine everywhere. But the best way to make sure you have the most current issue is to subscribe. It's just $16 for 12 months. Call Debbie today or go to our website, sbmag.net. SB Magazine, the pulse of Shreveport.
If you can't seem to stay ahead of your bills, then this message is for you. How would you like to have a large portion of your credit card debt, medical bills, and department store debt forgiven? National Credit Card Relief would like to give you free information on a proven debt forgiveness program. This program has been used by thousands to legally forgive millions in unsecured debt. It's not bankruptcy. It's not consolidation. This special program actually wipes clean the portion of your debt that is forgiven from what you owe your creditors. Call for free information and get all your questions answered in the first free call. The more you owe, the more you can save. If you have at least $10,000 or more in credit card bills, this debt forgiveness program can be very effective. Call for free information and find out more now. 800-894-6077. No cost or obligation for the information. Don't wait. Call 800-894-6077. That's 800-894-6077. Get your debt problem solved. Call 800-894-6077 today.
Hello, this is Matt from One Planet Solar. As we reach the middle of the year, I wanted to take a minute to thank all the homeowners who have installed solar energy systems so far in 2014, making this our busiest year yet. I love getting phone calls from customers the month after installation, bragging about their low electric bills. It never gets old. I'm also here to remind folks that One Planet Solar is a full-service electrical business, with master electrician Lee Cruz anchoring our repair and service division. Lee has an excellent reputation and has been with our company since we opened almost 8 years ago. He takes care of all jobs, small or large. Don't forget that solar still has tax credits available that pay up to 80% of the cost of most systems. Why give that money to the government when you can use it to buy solar for your home? So what are you waiting for? Whether it's a solar system or miscellaneous electrical work around the house, One Planet Solar is the only choice in the Arklatex. Call 858-5000 to schedule your free quote. That's 858-5000.
This is America on the Edge with C.L. Bryant and Steve Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
Welcome back to America on the Edge with C.L. Bryant. I'm Stephen Parr. We're welcoming the single ladies, the single guys, the married couples, anybody who's got a radio or an internet connection listening to 710 Keel. CL, your friend Jesse Waters has created a little controversy by talking a little bit about Beyonce.
Yeah, you know, Stephen, it seems like Jesse, he crossed this imaginary line, this line where you lump everybody in the same boat. And when you're talking about Beyonce fans, when you're talking about Beyonce audience, I can tell you this. When you're saying that the Beyonce voter is a black woman who is typically on government assistance, you got the whole scenario totally wrong, because her tickets, a pair of Beyonce tickets, might cost you $200, and that may be the cheap seats. I promise you that those aren't all. If if very few of them are government-supported people.
Yeah, you're right. She's definitely a mega star. Here's what Jesse Waters said on, this was Outnumbered on Fox. It's a show where you have 4 female hosts as regulars, and then they invite a male in. He's outnumbered. Jesse Waters, this was on Fox, was the outnumbered
Sounds like
male.
something I'd really like going on.
Sure, why not? It's a decent program to be on. Jesse said that Hillary Clinton was trying to go after all the single ladies. He said all the single ladies, which of course is the name of Beyonce's song. So he then referred to, I call them the Beyonce voters. Just like Clinton would say the soccer mom voters that he had that got him elected, he's saying the single ladies, the Beyonce
soccer moms
voters.
have graduated now to Beyonce voters?
I guess it's the soccer moms' daughters now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, are the Beyonce voters, the single ladies.
That's amazing.
And that part I don't have a problem with.
No.
The thing was, he went on and then said they are reliant upon government.
Ooh.
And the statistics do bear this out. 46.3% of the families receiving government assistance are families headed by single women, whereas 26% would be families headed by single men.
But it begs the question, Stephen, is that 26%? Was that the figure, 26%?
Yeah, for men.
For men. And then the figure
46 for women.
46 for women. But what percentage of that 46% are truly Beyonce voters? And what I mean by that is, do they actually go to pay the ticket to go to the Beyonce concert?
And see, that's where I think a lot of this confusion has come in, because some people, there was an article in The Guardian written by Jessica Valenti saying, well, look, Beyonce's rich and wealthy and stuff. And I don't think that's what Jesse was trying to say. I don't think he was trying to say these were Beyonce fans.
Jesse, you get the benefit of the doubt. He's going to be on the show here in a few days.
Here's where I think Jesse did mess up. He said they were reliant on government instead of being reliant on their husbands.
Ooh.
Now, the problem with that is it then suggests that any married woman is reliant on her husband.
And I know in it.
I know that
he stepped in it.
I know our producer Justine would say she's not relying on any man.
Justine, I see your face is red.
Yeah. And so that's where I think.
What did you say? Oh, okay.
That's where I think Jesse Waters went too far with his comments, and I think that's really where I think the backlash has really come from.
Stop it, Justine. I mean, we're just kidding. Okay, it's a joke. Justine, it's a joke. Okay.
But yeah, it is all about the single ladies and the single ladies who can't afford to go to the Beyonce concerts. Good for her. And Beyonce,
ladies, we don't mean to make this. I'm sorry. I don't mean to make light of what Jesse was saying, because Stephen, you will agree with me.
Yeah,
Jesse stepped in this.
He stepped in. He was trying to make a point, and I don't think he made his point the way he was wanting to make it. I really don't.
I bet Bill beat him about the head and neck.
Well, Bill went on, because he went on to Bill O'Reilly to defend the comments, and Bill said his point was, oh, you can't talk about Beyonce. Oh, you can't talk about Beyonce. I think Bill missed the point, too.
Probably so.
When Bill was getting to it, you can't say, you shouldn't say that women are either dependent on government or they're dependent on their husbands.
Not in 2014.
That is where I think the error was.
Not in 2014. And then let's deal with this race issue on this.
Okay, yeah.
Because I have a feeling that black women in particular, especially those who are upwardly mobile,
yeah,
who like Beyonce,
yeah,
took particular offense,
yeah,
to being called a Beyonce voter because they are dependent upon government or their husbands. And believe me, married black women probably really are shaking their ring finger,
yeah,
and saying, no, I have a college education.
There you go.
And I have raised these kids, and he's got his job. I know tons of them across the country. And believe me, they are offended when people, any woman, you would say, now and folks, we hate to talk in colors, but because that's the way we do things in America, Stephen, you know that whether they're white or black, they would still take the same offense.
I think they would take the exact same offense. And let me just say this. I would vote for Beyonce. Certainly over, say she was running against Nicki Minaj. I would definitely vote for Beyonce over Nicki Minaj any day.
But there is some truth to this.
No offense to you Nicki Minaj fans out there.
Sure. There is some truth to women who are trying to raise a family on their own do find it harder, and the statistics bear that out. And I think that's why more women who are single are on government assistance than men who are single on government assistance. There is a point there, and there is a problem, and it's especially pronounced in the African-American communities where families are broken more than in other communities.
This is true, and the other statistic in the black community that is just off the charts, it's outrageous, and that we do have, regardless of how you feel about it, these are the facts. You can, as I always say, you can have your own opinions, but you can't create your own facts. Facts are that 72% of children in the inner city in this country are raised by single parent mothers or single parent households. Stephen, we dealt with the Beyonce issue. I guess we solved the problem of the world today.
And we still want to know what other voting blocks out there based on celebrities. We'll talk about that when America on the Edge returns.
This is America on the Edge on News Radio 710 Keel.
If you're tired of getting nickel and dime for your company's marketing needs, GI Marketing Group can help. We're a new, evolved marketing company with no monthly fees or markups and with quicker response times. With GI Marketing Group, there is no outsourcing. We own the production facilities, everything from print, mail, video, digital, and web design. We do it all in-house. Call us today at 318-222-1100 to start saving time and money, or visit us online at gimarketinggroup.com.
You don't have to go far to get away from it all. Just 30 minutes south of Shreveport in the historic village of Grand Cane stands the Cook Hill House Bed and Breakfast. This stately treasure was built in the mid-1800s before the Civil War. Today, antiques and homemade quilts fill king and queen size suites. Rooms come fully furnished with private baths and free cable and Wi-Fi. Plus, you get a homemade country breakfast from Grand Cane Gourmet Jane Bryant included in your reservation. The Cook Hill House is the perfect place for weddings, receptions, parties, and showers, or when simply planning your next staycation. Call the Cook Hill House Bed and Breakfast at 318-858-0800. 318-858-0800. That's 318-858-0800. Cook Hill House Bed and Breakfast. Victorian elegance with country charm.
Prices are for base buildings only and may not be available in some areas. This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. So call General Steel now for the quality and the price in a pre-engineered steel building that you just can't beat. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How much can you save? How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $35,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first. Call 800-98-STEEL today and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. Don't let rising steel prices put your project in jeopardy. Call now to lock in your price for 3 months. Call 800-98-STEEL. That's 800-98-STEEL. Don't spend thousands more than you should. Call 800-987-8335.
Luxury without limits at Jaguar of Shreveport. Online at jaguarofshreveport.net.
It's the most advanced technology available. Engineered with over 200 million sensory receptors. Its all-terrain design is beautifully formed, weather-resistant, reliable, astonishingly high performance in even the most challenging of circumstances. And it is also the finest search technology in the world. There's nothing else quite like a search dog. Be part of the search. Go to searchdogfoundation.org to see how you can help.
Robert J. Wright here, back again with Aaron McCarty, next up on the new Keel Morning Show.
Local attorney Jacqueline Scott talking Cajun Court, and Senator David Fitter will join us in the 7 o'clock hour.
Right here, Thursday morning on News Radio 710 Keel.
How are you going to pay for college? Family trust fund, the lottery, a student loan? Hey, the Army National Guard can pay your tuition. Not 1/4, not 2/3, all of it. And that's for serving part-time. Go to our website, same as our phone number, www.1800GoGuard.com. Can you pay for college? In the Army National Guard, you can.
Sponsored by the Texas National Guard. Aired by the Texas Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Live on News Radio 710 Keel. You're listening to America on the Edge.
C.L. Bryant back with you. America on the Edge along with Stephen Parr. Folks, we've been on the air now, Stephen, what, 7-8 days?
Something like that.
We're having a great time
Yeah.
with you, bringing you the news and giving you our commentary on it. And I believe that our show will be a bridge for all of you to cross back and forth. And we look forward next week, Stephen. We got to take a bunch of phone calls because I believe that's going to be the spice of life for this show. What do you think?
Sure. I want to hear what more people say, and that's why we've been asking our question on Twitter. You can tweet us right now at The American Edge. And our question has been, what other celebrity-based voting blocks are there? We had a hashtag Beyonce voters and all the single ladies, and we've been getting some back in.
I don't know. We might hear from the Johnny Mathis fans as well as, the Tom Jones fans out there. Most of you who just identified Johnny Mathis and Tom Jones.
Yeah.
I know that you are older than me. But anyway.
The Tom Jones fans know what's new, Pussycat. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh, man. Yeah. I tell you something. You guys are really on the edge today. I got to tell you. But, folks, we do have a lot of fun here with you, and we do enjoy being here with you. And as we go along, we certainly want you to participate in this great American journey, this great American conversation, a conversation where you'll not live on the edge, you'll have the edge, here with myself and Stephen Parr. And as always, we like to end our show in tribute to the men, the women, our finest across the world, from sea to shining sea, and those in faraway lands who allow us to have the privilege, the opportunity to sit behind these microphones and speak our minds. I want to leave you with this song by a good friend of mine. His name is D-Rock. He wrote and he performs this song called The Uniform. We'll see you in 23 hours. This is C.L. Bryant for Stephen Parr, signing out. Bye now.
And living free. They see the damage and the pain. Shattered lives where evil reigns. Still they march on down that dangerous road, fighting for us, carrying the heavy load. And I wanna thank you from my heart.
Keely was my baby sister. She loved pink. We were playing with her dolls. I found a gun in the drawer. It went off. I made Kaylee go away. I hate me.
An unlocked gun could be the death of your family. Please, lock up your gun. A message from the Ad Council and the National Crime Prevention Council. Visit unloadandlock.com.
News Radio 710 Keel. News Radio 710 Keel. News Radio 710 Keel. News Radio 710 Keel's Top Town. John Lee will tell you which one it is every weekday at your station for news, weather, and stimulating talk. KE.